Okay, so welcome back to another video. Again, it's been a little longer between videos than I wanted, but I had a little incident. We had some pretty heavy wet snow here a couple weeks ago, and while I was out blowing snow, the belt came off the machine and I crawled under to fix it. Started blowing snow again. I heard a big clunk and saw my phone and case go flying out of the snowblower. It had fallen out of my pocket in my jacket when I laid down to fix the belt. So I've been without a means to record for a while, so I got a new phone now. We'll see how this one works and get some more videos going. But yeah, I'll show you some of the stuff I got done while I was without a phone and some of the things we're planning on doing here coming up. We'll try to get some of this done in this video. So let me grab the camera and I'll show you where we're at. So I did a little more stripping with the conditioner, stripper disc, whatever you want to call it, in the driver's side here. It's pretty rough. It's all rumpled up into here, out here. So you can see there's a little residue of green paint still here. So it had been damaged when it was still the original paint, and then fixed. They drilled a few holes here to pull this out, and then was bondoed up. And then later, I'm assuming when they fixed this rust, or there was another incident, it was mudded again, and before it was painted white. And this here is just, you can see where it's full of holes where they tried pulling this out here and did not do a very good job with it. So it's just, by the time I metal work this, replace all of this, replace all of this, I'm just gonna use the other quarter panel I have and replace the quarter on this side. So the plan will be to take it all the way probably to the tail panel here, follow the factory here, but then I'll go really close to this edge and follow this along. I like doing it on the edge here because it's a lot less warpage that way. Follow it here, and then get to here, we'll figure out if we're just going to kind of keep following this or go up. But coming through here, and then just a little bit on this side here, we'll seam it along here. I may go fully in, but I know I don't believe the quarter panel goes all the way in, so it'll probably be out along this edge here. But there again, this will help keep it from warping out into here. So yeah, that's the plan on this side. I was hoping we wouldn't have to replace the whole quarter, but it's just not worth doing just patches on it. On the other side here, I think we're still okay. Like I say, this edge here, this body line is still really good. There's a little dented back in here, but all this is nice. It's just this lip here and around. So we're gonna stick with that plan. So the other thing we're trying to get done in this, put some good tunes in it. Unfortunately, these don't have a lot of good space. So my original plan, turn this down here a little bit, was I modified the back seat a little bit because the back seat's hollow. It's just a spring with some burlap and foam on it. There's about 6 inches probably of space there. My original plan was to put a pair of 8-inch woofers mounted through here, facing into the back of the seat. Then where the pump sits there, just put a cover over that. Just kind of make it more sealed and kind of plug holes up and make that whole back space into an enclosure. But it just wasn't working. I had made a pattern like here. So this would have been made out of sheet metal and stood up, you know, so tall. to mount the woofers in, but they were still going to interfere with the wires in the back of the seat. So my next plan is what we got here. I face them this way where the convertible top sits. I made some covers out of some stainless to go over those holes there. Got cut out for a pair of 8-inch subwoofers. I did make some 3D printed trim rings or spacer rings to bring the woofers out just a little bit to keep them, because it's really tight to the inside there. But that was just enough, about a 1/4 inch, so the magnet doesn't touch anything. And again, I'll kind of seal up all these holes, and I may just partially cover this and use it kind of as a port. I'll hook up the woofers and get some sound tests if I completely close it off, or just leave that kind of like a port. But yeah, I think this will work really well. When the top's up, all you have is that liner here. When the top's down, your bass is still going to get through, especially if I port the other side. You'll still have plenty of bass in the car. You know, it's better than original plan was to maybe put one on each side in these side compartments. And I think that's going to give us a lot more volume. And it's, you know, the car's not going to people that are going to be playing hip hop. It's mostly blues and rock and roll. So I think these 8s will really add to it. And up front here, plan is now to make an enclosure to go into here, because, you know, water from the cowl and stuff comes down through here and drains out the bottom. So I'll make fiberglass and glass enclosures to sit in here, put a woofer there, probably a component system with a woofer, mid-range, and tweeter in these spaces. Should get really good sound up front. I may see if I can possibly mount a tweeter up in the dash instead of down below. I'll have to play around with that too. The hard part is the back. You know, possibly adding a speaker like in the door back here to give your mids and highs, along with the bass from the subs in the back. There's just really no good place along these sides to put speakers, so that'll be coming later. But I wanted to get these woofers figured out before we get this body blasted and get everything painted. I had to weld in some patches on each side here where there were holes that were kind of like those. So yeah, that's the plan for the tunes, and I'm gonna get started on this quarter panel. I did take my profile gauge and put it up to the replacement quarters, and I used the quarter on the other side because these are a little misshapen from the work done here, and put the profile gauge across here and this way, and the replacement panel matched up real well. So I don't know where that panel came from, who it's made by. You know, it may be an old Goodmark. I know it was purchased back like in the late 90s or 2000s, somewhere back in there. So all right, I'll get back to work on this and see if I can get any more progress to show you on getting this quarter panel pulled off. All right, so I'm going to start just using the plasma cutter to kind of get a rough cut kind of along this blue line to get rid of the majority of the sheet metal before we go in and, you know, carefully peel everything else off. I think once I get going here, it'll go through this paint no problem. But yeah, I'll get started and we'll get this thing cut out. Mask is a little dark. No, we're not cutting there. There's a lot of Bondo and paint. I might have to grind that down. Oh yeah, we're cutting. Just gotta go a little slower. All right, there we have the majority out. So yeah, so far this side here looks pretty darn good. A little bit of coals down in there, but yeah, that's a good start. And we can work on peeling all this lower stuff off. And then I can start fitting the quarter panel up here on the top. We want a really nice tight gap. You know, we tried to keep it pretty tight on the floor pan, but this is even a lot more critical. We don't want really over 1/16 of an inch. So, all right. All right, got this bottom section all patched in. Came out good and solid. It's nice and sturdy now. The inside. You see, I'm not too concerned about welds. I just kind of knock the tops off just so when I do, you know, strip this and then seal it, gets in there better to seal everything up. So I got it up to this point right now. So I'll probably finish this up tomorrow. It may have been easier if I would have bought outer wheelhouse, but you know, then $60 or whatever for that, and cut it off just to use this strip. And you know, that still takes a lot of time to weld all that in. So I don't know, 6 one, half dozen of the other. This is definitely going to work. That's why one of the reasons I'm doing it in sections is I don't have a pulp max to do it all in one piece, you know, to make this profile. But it's also helping me keep the shape correct as I go around. Just using the old part as a guide. So, all right, well, I'm going to end this video here. I think it's going to get a little long. So, hope you enjoyed it. Keep watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks a lot. Bye.